We also have an integration program for Ethiopian Israelis, as well as for teachers with disabilities from all different ethnic backgrounds. And we've seen that when a student, regardless of their background, when a student has a teacher who's from a different identity, it really challenges their stereotypes. It makes it harder for them to be one of the people that's outside rioting when they actually know personally someone from that community. And we've also seen this impact extends beyond just the students, also to their parents, as well as even to some of their teachers in the school themselves, whose perceptions really change as they get to know someone from this community. In this way, each Arab citizen who goes to teach at a Jewish school is really creating a ripple effect, positively impacting their entire school community and promoting a brighter shared future for all Israelis. So to hear a little bit more about what that looks like in the classroom, I'm going to pass it back to Steve, who will lead a conversation with Sharuk and Samach.
Wonderful, thank you, Rachel. You know, like I've said, I can't heap enough praise on your organisation. It's really heartwarming, and very much something that strikes a chord with me. Okay, so Samach and Sharuk, you know, thanks again for joining us. Maybe you can just, Sharuk, start by telling us, you know, introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about your personal background, your family situation, where you live, and you know how you identify yourselves within the sort of social tapestry of Israel.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your invitation. I think it is a good opportunity for me to share with you my experience, my great experience with Merchavim, and also in my experience as a Palestinian teacher in an Israeli Jewish school. Okay, I will start to talk about myself. Okay, I live in Abilene. I was born in Abilene, a village in the Galil. It is 20 kilometers from Nazareth. I was educated in Mar Elias school. It is a school that is managed by the church, our village. And Abuna Elias Shakur is the person who established this school. And why I started with this issue, the school that I was educated and raised in, because I think it is the first place that learned me to evaluate diversity and the acceptance for the others or for other. The school in my village opened its door from the first day of its establishing for all the people from and all the students from the Galilee. And I think Samah can agree with me. In our school, we got the opportunity to meet children when I was a student, to meet students from all the Palestinian villages in Galilee, from Shfaram, from Abilene, from Kabul, from Akko, all the villages, and there was no difference between Christian or Muslim or Druze. Also, being a student in this school, I was taught by a Jewish teacher, a Druze, Muslim, and Christian teachers. So it was my first place that, it was my first space that gave me this value to accept others and the value of diversity. And now I will move to my family, my small family. I am married to Isam, a mother to Musa and Mais. I am an English teacher, a former social worker for youth in distress. And I think I am happy to be part of this program, a program that I think gave us the opportunity to humanize the conflict between Arabs or Palestinians and Jews. That's it for now.
Thank you very much. You know, as you say, the opportunity to put a, you know, to humanize the conflict, and you know, by teaching children and exposing them to another culture and another side. You know, it's fantastic, really fantastic. So good for you, amazing, thank you. So Samach, sorry, Sharuk. I'm now going to pass on to Samach. Sorry, I'm you know, I mix up my children's names, let alone other people's names. So forgive me for that. Samach, would you like to, you know, also explain a little bit about yourself, about your family background, where you live, etc. I know that our audience are very keen to hear.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Samah. I'm from Dir Khana, a small village at the North Valley of Israel. I'm sorry about the way I look. I just had a dental surgery yesterday, but I felt a lot of commitment to be here today with all of you to share with you our work at Merchavim, the things that we do, to tell you the story about us, about our teachers. So I'm 30 years old. I'm a mother for a wonderful baby girl, Natalia. I'm married to a police officer. So I'm a teacher, an English teacher, and I'm also a teacher coordinator at the teacher integration program. At first, I moved to the South with my family, and I taught there for 4 years at the Bedouin schools. And then I had my baby, and I had to move where my family is to get the support I need from my family. And Merchavim staff helped me to move back to the north, and I started to teach at Jewish schools. About my experience and all that stuff, I will talk later. And really thanks to all of you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for being with us, and it's our absolute pleasure. So, you know, I briefly gave an overview of your titles in my introduction this evening, but Sharuk, could you speak about your job as an English teacher? You know, just your what it's like to participate in this program. Just your experiences and
the Merchavim program or at school?
A little bit of both.
Okay. So I will start with my experience at school. Okay.
Yeah.
It is my third year as an English teacher, and the two first years. I had a very struggling experience at an Israeli Jewish school in Akko, and this year, thanks to the professional support that I got from Merchavim, I continued my third year in a new school. thanks God, I have a corrective experience in this school. If I compare it to the first school that I had last year or the last 2 years. Regarding my experience at school, all I can sum it in one sentence. Every time my student Ushri looks at me and smiles to me and asks me again, teacher, do you mean it that I am a good student? And I say, yes, you are a very good student. And I think his smile, the love and the respect that he gives me back, I think it is all the it is the best thing that happened to me during this experience. Wow. It is the very important thing in this experience. I believe I have a very deep belief that this respect and love that I give my students and my efforts to give them an equal opportunity to get a good education, they will take it forward to their children and to their friends and to their family and make our future better.
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears, as we say. That's amazing. And Sharuk, if you don't mind me asking, where you don't have to say which school, but is the school that you currently teach in close to where you live, or do you have a far, do you have a long journey to go?
Okay. Okay. So as I told you before, my previous school was a good school. But let's say that there was no, my values didn't meet the professional values. I'm not talking only about the personal values. The educational values, professional values didn't meet. So I had to look for a new place.
Sure.
So this place is in the center district. I have to travel every day, almost. Okay, I don't want to say exactly.
That's fine.
I am afraid that you will say that I am crazy.
No.
Okay, almost 4 hours I travel every day.
Wow.
In order to get to my school, yeah.
Well, I have to say that.
But still, it is worth. It's worth, yeah.
And exactly what you've just said, I have to say that just having heard the little bit of what you've said, you know, I think those children are very fortunate to have a teacher such as yourself. Very fortunate. So amazing. Thank you. Samach, back to you again. As I mentioned earlier, you're a program coordinator and a former teacher. Can you explain more about what you do and how Merchavim assists its teachers, and speak a little bit about the recruitment of the teachers, their placement, their training, training before and whilst they're actually in service at the schools, and the support that Merchavim offers to the teachers.
Okay, I'll start talking about the support I had from the Merchavim. Okay. Staff, and then I will move to the other things you asked me.
Sure.
When I was a teacher at Jewish school at Carmiel, I remember my couple and 2 or 3 months I went home crying. I didn't want to continue at the school. I remember me entering at the class, and the fourth and the fifth grade pupils shouting, Muhammad is a big, Allahu Akbar. It was very, very hard experience that I had. And I remember going home crying and calling my coordinator at the Merkhavim, and I got all the support I needed to continue to make things better with the kids, with the other teachers at the same school, even with my principal. I got all the support I needed as an Arab teacher, an Arab Palestinian teacher at a Jewish school. So about our job, I would like to share a presentation.
Sure, please do. I think you'll find that you have sharing capabilities.
Okay. Thank you.
Should have.
Okay. So I would like to start from here. Today we have at least 15,000 employed Arab teachers at our country. And in the other hand, lots of Jewish schools that need teachers. So when you look at this, you say, okay, it's a simple math. Let's take all the employed Arab teachers and put them at Jewish schools. But when you come to the real life in our country, it doesn't work like this at all. So when we had here an Arab teacher asking for a job, she's saying, I have MTeach, I'm a math teacher and I need a job, you will see that she got only 2 or 3 work offers. But when you see that a Jewish teacher is saying the same thing, that I'm a math teacher and all this stuff, you will see 35 comments. So here at first, I, as a teacher coordinator, talk to principals, explain about our program. We offer them good teachers that had all the interviews that they needed to have before going to a Jewish school. We also work with the Minister of Education, as Rachel said, so we offer them hours, 8 hours for every Arab teacher that you will get in your school. Here we have the interviews, Zoom interviews this year that we had for our teachers before sending them to school. Here we have courses that we pass at colleges all over the country. Integration, Arab integration course. Here we have language, a Hebrew language course that all the teachers that didn't pass at the interview because of the language, because they don't control Hebrew language as they had to, we just passed them also a course. Courses that we do at colleges all over the country also. This course we do every single year for all the teachers that we have at our program. We visit teachers at school, 1 for 2 visits at schools. We hear about their success story, the difficulties that they deal with. Here also we had a Zoom meeting that we did for our teachers at the May events. It was really, really hard for them, and we heard such difficult and hard things that happened with all our teachers at the events. This is another course that we have for our teachers. This is a WhatsApp groups. If you can see here, hello everyone. Can you feel that you can go back to schools at the May events? No, I'm so afraid. Yeah, I'm feeling like this too. They share their feelings at these groups. If you can see here at the Zoom meeting that we did at the May events, I feel so helpless, worried, and disappointed. I feel lots of pain. I feel so afraid. Here at the May events also, we had a little event with Rachel, can you help me?
President.
Yeah, with the president and also the
Minister
of Education. And that's it. That's part of the job that we do. And this is just a little thing of the support that we give our teacher.
Okay, thank you, Samach. Listening to you speak, it's for me, and I suspect all of the audience here tonight, it's heartbreaking to hear of the initial reception you got. We can only hope that things have improved greatly for you. I think it stands as testament to the strength of your character to have stuck with it and moved forward. And again, like I said to Sharuk, to me it's obvious that I don't know your students, but they're very lucky to have such a person. And again, the fact that you've just undergone dentistry surgery, which makes my skin crawl because I really don't like dentists. You're clearly a very strong person, so that's fantastic. Sharuk, back to you. Why did you choose to work in a Jewish school?
You are talking to me?
Yes, sorry, Sharuk,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
So I had some internet issues.
No,
That's
no
why
worries. So did you hear did you hear the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my choice to work in a Jewish schools reflects my desire to be part of the mainstream in Israel, in the society, in the Israeli society. I think this gives me the opportunity to take part in educating and designing the future generation. I think it is a very good opportunity to me.
Sure, for sure.
I want to be part of it, of this, influencing the future generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think in those few words that you've explained, I think that just says everything.
And if I have more time, I can share with you some of my experiences that can tell exactly what I mean. Do you have time?
Yes, please do. A couple of experiences. Very well.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. So this week I can bring an example of one of my students, Shuval. Shuval is a student from disadvantaged family. He has a very challenging educational and social background. And together with his other teachers, we all the time try to bring him back to class to start to believe in himself and learn like everyone else in his class. And this week he started to sit down and to study. And during the lesson, one of his colleagues looked at her telephone, and then he said, what are you looking for? Now you will meet some pedophile Arabs. And then I looked at him and said, Shuval, what did you say? Can you repeat what you said? And then he looked at me and he thought to himself, and he said, sorry, Sharuk, it's not nice what I said. And then we talked about this issue, and he said at the end, there are pedophiles in all the sectors, not in the Arab sector. And I really was happy to hear him saying this. And I also can bring another experience of one of my students that he didn't accept me at the beginning of the year. His name was Yusuf Khai. And every time I called him Yusuf, because in Arabic we say Yusuf.
Yes.
And he said, no, we don't say Yusuf like the Arabs. I am Yusuf Khai. Don't say Yusuf. And then he asked me to tell the students why my son doesn't go to the army like all the Israelis. And I was very confused, and I started to think about a way that I give him an answer that I don't hurt him and I don't lie at the same time. And I told him that, okay, my son is volunteering in another program, and I tried to just make him forget this issue. And during the year, this student started to love my classes. During he got a lot of help from me. Every time he didn't want to come to school, I called him and convinced him to come to school. Every time he couldn't read the text, I sent him a recording with my call, with my voice, reading the text and asking him to repeat it after me. And in this way, he started to gain more self-confidence in reading. And then he came to class and asked me to read the text in front of all the students in his class. And I remember that this student is from my former school, not from this school. At the end of the year, he told me that, Shuruk, I want to tell you that you are not only the best English teacher in our school, you are the best teacher in this school. Wow. And it was, for me, I think I did it. I did it.
Amazing.
Take it forward. He will take it forward to his friends and the family and the people surrounding him. And also this year I have many students that all the time ask me about our society, about my children. For example, they are very interested about my daughter because she is a musician, she is a pianist, and all the time they ask me questions like, why you are coming, why are you traveling so far every day? You are not tired, teacher? All the time they ask me. And then I answer them when I see that my students are happy and want to learn English and they are improving their English, I don't feel tired anymore. And really they give me a lot of power to do this. I remember last week I missed my train, and I was very nervous. I got to school after a very hard travel, and then I entered my class and they looked at me and they asked me, teacher, you are not you don't look good. And then I told them about my hard travel. Then they started to say, okay, we are not going to make you a very hard job today. We will be a very good. So really, I feel that they are like my children, really.
Amazing.
Really. And even one of my students, Itai Yechezkeli, I had a very serious problem with this student that didn't want to enter my class. Not only my class, in general, he doesn't like to enter classes because he have some problems in the family, and he is very challenged also in his learning. And I had to cooperate with the head teacher of his class, of the 9th graders in the school, and he is from the right camp, from the political right camp. And we have a very good cooperation to help this student. Why? Because we share the same values, the same professional values. And I think it's great. It's great to me. At the beginning of the year, I was afraid from this head teacher because he is very, all the time he is speaking about his right visions, you know. But when we start to talk about our students, I don't feel any difference between us. And I hope this will last till the next war. I don't know what is going to happen then, but till today, we are doing very well. We are cooperating very well.
That's amazing. And really, really, you know, the word that comes to mind is just beautiful. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you know, it gives us hope for the future. People like you.
Really, yeah.
That's amazing.
Every time my children feel frustrated from the situation in Israel, I tell them these stories.
Fantastic. A wonderful parent too. A wonderful parent. I'm sitting here thinking, I wish that my children would have had a teacher like you, with the patience and the commitment. I really do. And I mean that very sincerely. My children are all grown up now in their 20s, but I really do wish that they would have had teachers with your level of dedication. And they went to a Jewish school. And yeah, I can say that very sincerely. Samach, would you like to share with us why you chose to teach at a Jewish school in Israel?
At first, I think I wanted to make that change that Shuruk talked about now. When you first go as a Palestinian teacher to a Jewish school and start teaching there, they will look at you as they look at someone who came to, I'm sorry for saying that, someone who came to kill them. It's like this. And after a couple of months, when they get to know you, they get to know that there are good Arabs. Arabs are not bad. Muslims are not bad. You know, when I remember, as I said, the first couple of months were so hard. But then after they started to know me better and I started to know them better, I remember every single time at the morning when I got to school, I just saw all that pupils came to me running and hugging me. Yeah, I think it was worth it. I really think.
Yeah, that makes it all worth it.
That's the purpose, exactly.
Yeah.
Of Arabs teaching at your schools, just to get to know better, each one better.
Sure. I mean, what better way to bridge that divide than to integrate with schools and children? It's the perfect way.
Children hear the news.
Yeah,
they hear
absolutely.
Arabs are bad. They don't know Arabs. They never saw an Arab teacher or an Arab person. And when you go as an Arab Palestinian teacher, teach and start teaching them, they get to know you. They get to know that there are other people living here at this country. And
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's people like you who are literally breaking down that divide by doing what you're doing. It's the value of that is not, one can't put a value on that. It's immeasurable. I'd like to ask you, sticking with you, Samach, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you to share with us, how your family and friends reacted to your decision. And you've mentioned already about how your students have reacted in the early days, and how time has passed and they've come to clearly respect you and be very fond of you as a teacher. But if you can just tell us a little bit about how your family and friends reacted to your decision, colleagues, how they reacted, your teaching colleagues from perhaps your university or college, and whether you had any reactions from them that changed over time.
Okay, for my family, my mother is an English teacher, my father is a principal, so for them, they gave me all the support I needed, and they didn't mind. They had lots of Jewish friends and lots of Jewish who came to us, because my dad knows everyone. So I don't think he did mind. It's like teaching in Arab or Jewish school. For my husband, as I said, he is a police officer, so he's working all the time with Jewish. So for me personally, I didn't face this difficulty with the family or friends. Yeah.
Sure. That's wonderful. Wonderful to have the support of family. It's also one of those things in life that we can never take for granted, but it's wonderful to have, for sure. Sharuk, can you share with us your experiences of reactions from family, friends, co-students that you studied with, colleagues rather, that you studied with, whether there were any, what were their reactions, and did they change over time?
I think on the personal level or human level, they didn't think that there will be any problem, because we live with the Jews. We always had has had interactions with the Jews. When we go to Haifa, or when we go to hospital or to places like this. Yeah. But the problem, they thought that I might face a problem, and I also thought that I might face a problem at the level of the educational system, Israeli educational system, especially on occasions like the Independence Day, or Yom HaZikaron, or Nakba, or the Land Day. It's these days are days of tension.
Sure.
In our society, in our Israeli society, between Jews and Arabs. So yeah, and they are right. It's not easy. If we don't have merchavim, I don't know what could we do. Sure. I don't know.
For sure.
You would not see me here today if we don't have merchavim.
Then thank God for merchavim. And as the saying goes, as we say, that things in life that aren't easy, that they're worth it. Yeah.
And I want to add another thing. It's not secret that the Jews in Israel, sorry Yael, sorry Mike, sorry everyone, that I am...
Speak candidly.
Okay, it's not secret that the Jews think that they are better than us. They feel superior, okay? Even the children feel this towards us, that we are less than them. So every time that the situations get hot and complicated, there is a sentence that we always hear from the Jews' side, that, okay, stop it. You always behave like victims. You always think that you are victims. And I think, not I think, that last year when during the war on May, I had very hot discussions with my colleagues, and I heard the same sentence. Oh, you just behave like a victim. Stop it. And I was very angry, but thanks to the support of Merchavim, I reminded myself with the sentence that Shimon told me in one of our calls when I needed a support. He told me, Shuruk, I think that he reflected to me that the problem I had with this school, our personal and our professional values, they just don't meet. Okay, they just don't meet. And then I stayed relaxed and I answered them, do you know what? I think our values, our professional values don't meet. I'm going to look for another school. And I think this empowered me. And this way I kept my self-confidence, because I was only one, and they are a lot.
Yeah.
This way, and thanks to Merchavim support, I kept my self-confidence and continued to look for my next school. And thanks God, today I am in the right school with the right team. We work together very well. And I think I have the best school that I could really ever dream about.
Fantastic.
There is a space that we all work together for a good aim.
Yeah, for a goal. Wonderful.
Yeah, goals.
Wonderful. No, aim as well. Your English is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And listening to you with what you've said about the Jewish people in Israel, it's that's your perception, and that's what you experience. And it's sad, and it's sad on so many levels that it's this kind of thing that has arisen from this sort of conflict that has gone on for decades. And so, thank God for Merchavim, places, organizations like Merchavim who do the work that they're doing. Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Shuruk. Thanks. Samach, back to you again. Sorry, I'm well aware of the time there, and you've had surgery, so really thank you for bearing with us. Maybe you can just say a few words about Shuruk just mentioned some of the challenges she's had in general and during the last war in May. Would you be able to share some of your experiences of challenges and also your experiences of during May's conflict?
Yeah, okay. I will share some things that happened with teachers at the program. One teacher, a fifth grade pupil, called her a stinky Arab. Another teacher, her student told her that, asked her actually, what my father's job at the military? So she told them no. The pupil said, an elementary pupil said, to kill Arabs, sorry. And another story that happened at the May event, that a teacher was at the WhatsApp group of all the teachers, and she sent me voice records of teachers, co-workers that teach at the same school with her, praying for all the Arab mothers to bury their children. So really, it's like lots of hard things to hear, but that happened. And I think every single time that we will face a struggle, a war, or something between Arabs and Jewish, we will face all those things again.
It's tragic. It's tragic, you know, for both sides, if you want to use the word sides, for both peoples. It's tragic on so many levels, so many levels. Do you think what you're doing by teaching Jewish Israeli children and being part of their everyday lives, that you will even if slowly, that you'll see a change even during times of conflict?
For sure, Steve, for sure. Yeah.
God, please God. It's amazing. I'm literally, you know, I'm gobsmacked. It's so heartwarming. It's upsetting, obviously, on one level, to hear of the struggles that you've experienced, and you know, it's also heartwarming to hear of some of the stories that you've given us of the way that the kids have slowly come to respect you and you know, value you, and we can only hope and pray that that will continue, and that, you know, like you've said, like what you're doing will slowly, nothing happens overnight, nothing happens with speed, you know, in the context of what we're talking about. But we can only hope and pray that what you know, people like yourself and people like Shuruk and all the other members of the team at Merchavim, all that you're doing will lead to a change in your everyday lives, and a change in relations, even at times of conflict, because unfortunately, I think we can all agree that it's just a matter of time until things flare up again. Unfortunately, it's not what we want, but it's, unfortunately, I feel, and maybe, you know, I would love to be proven wrong, but it's, you know, it's a matter of time. But I hope that your experiences during such a time will improve, because I have to say, you know, and again, I'm speaking from my heart, from myself on a personal level, but I speak very sincerely, that I look at you guys and you are heroes of Israel. You are doing the work of heroes. You are doing the work of angels. It's really fantastic. So for myself, thank you for all that you're doing. I think from what I'm seeing in our chat, from our audience, thank you sincerely for all that you're doing. May you continue to remain strong and resolute in what you're doing, and may your students give you the respect and the, you know, the love that students can give to their teachers. May they continue to, and may they, you know, your new students grow to respect you and love you and value you. Please God. Look, time is going on. Rachel, I've got some questions here. I think what I'm just going to do is, Mike, would you like to say something before I go on to questions, or would you like me to ask questions first? I'm just mindful of the time. Mike?
Steve, entirely as you want. I'm completely open.
Okay, so I think I'll ask a couple of questions. We've got quite a few, but you know, time is such that we can't ask all of them. A recurring question that's here, and you know, maybe Rachel or Mike, and you know, either of you, I'll put it to either of you. Are there any plans, are there any schemes or plans to place Jewish teachers into Arab schools? Pretty much, you know, the opposite of what Merchavim are doing currently with Arab citizens of Israel into Israeli Jewish schools.
Rachel, do you want to, or shall I take that, Rachel?
You're welcome, Mike.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sitting here like an uncle or dad or grandpa, just getting nachat from what I've heard. And thank you, Steve, for your very kind words. But this program arose out of a market failure, really, which arose from the confusion of who is an Israeli. Does Israeli mean just Jewish? Of course, in reality, it doesn't. Israeli means 80% Jews and 20% Arabs and great diversity. The reality was that there was a lack of Jewish teachers and 10 or 15,000 unemployed Arab teachers. So the direction that was needed is, let's get these unnecessarily unemployed qualified Arab teachers in Jewish schools. So taking Jewish teachers out of Jewish schools and putting them in Arab schools was going to do two things, really. It was going to deny another Arab teacher a job, and it was going to increase the shortage of teachers in Jewish schools. And I'll make one more point, which is nothing about Israel. It's about majority-minority relations. Everywhere, minorities always know majorities better than majorities know minorities, because they have to. That's the reality. And so we had a situation in which, it would be great if Arab students had more Jewish teachers, but the Arab minority, of course, knows Jewish Israelis much better than Jewish Israelis know a minority, because that's how majority and minority relations work. So it just seemed like the direction to go. Great,
definitely. I mean, like I've said, I'm really blown away by the work that you do, and hearing it, as we say here in the UK, hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I'm just moving through as quickly as I can. Okay, a question here, some of which has been answered, but I'll ask it anyway. Samach and Sharuk, are you the only Palestinian teachers in the schools that you teach at, or are there others? Sharuk, would you like to answer first?
Okay. Something went wrong. Just a minute. Yeah. In my school in Holon, we are 3 teachers. 2 are Arabic teachers, and I am an English teacher.
Right.
An English teacher. I think we get a very good opportunity, the 3 of us, to be there. The staff is a very good and supportive staff there. With the students, there are good days and there are less good, as any school. It's
exactly.
Not only.
And it's like having one's own children. There's good days and bad days.
Yeah, but we are doing well. We are doing well this year.
Good.
But I told you, this is my 3rd year. It's with the time and with the support.
Sure. And how about you, Samach?
Okay. Steve, at this program, there are Muslims, Palestinian Muslims, Christian, Druze, even Sharkas. It's like, it's not only Muslims, and it's all, at the program. And what is special about us, that there are teachers that for them they are Palestinians Arabs, and there are teachers at the same program, for them they are Israeli Arabs, and there are another teachers that for them they are Israeli Palestinian Arabs. It's like, yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean for you to laugh. I realize you're in pain. A wide diversity of identity, rather.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and the same person has asked, are there programs to introduce Jewish and Arab kids? So, you know, Jewish kids from an Israeli Jewish school and Arab kids from an Arab Israeli school. Are there maybe Mike or Rachel? Maybe you can offer an answer.
In Israel, I mean, you know, the basic structure of Israel's schools, for historical reasons, are these four separate school streams: Jewish, secular, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, and Arab. Mm-hmm. There are some integrated schools working between the hand-in-hand schools. There's a very important program of, I think, 8 or 9 schools now of Jewish and Arab children learning together with Jewish and Arab teachers. Of course, there are also schools bringing together Jewish Israelis of different backgrounds. You know, really, having separate school streams is a huge structural challenge to building a society in which young people are comfortable with each other. That was something that President Rivlin spoke about eloquently, yes. And now President Herzog is speaking about. So really anything that Merkavim can do and other fine organizations, learning about others in the curriculum, children meeting each other, teachers training together. But of the strategies that we've thought about over the years and really the available strategies, I think diversifying in teaching, I think, Steve, you said it really well, bringing teachers of different backgrounds into schools. And of course, with Merkavim today, it's, you know, all the Ethiopian teachers, teachers of all backgrounds with disabilities, but the big kind of market failure is of 15,000 unemployed Arab teachers. It's incredibly valuable because when these young children run to Shuruk, everything has changed. Everything has changed in relations. And you know, thank God we have a national homeland to the Jewish people, but it has to be ever fairer to all its citizens. And Shuruk spoke honestly about a sense of entitlement. Absolutely. As if, you know, Israel is a Jewish community center. You know, Israel isn't a Jewish community center. The first triumph of the Zionist movement was to create a state with citizens. So now we have to take that citizenship seriously and knit that fabric, that civic fabric, and fulfill you know, the magnificent vision of the Proclamation of Independence. So when you integrate teachers, it's not a project. This is not a project. This is life. This is paid for by the Ministry of Education in terms of the salaries. The saving to the state budget, as estimated by the Finance Ministry over 5 years of integrating 500 teachers, is 300 million shekels to the economy. So this is a win-win-win proposition. This is giving education to kids who lack teachers. This is giving jobs to teachers who lacked employment opportunities. This is knitting the social fabric, and it has huge economic advantages. And the more that we can do to do this creates that sense. And I was really moved in this conversation when you know, Shuruk and Samar talked about belonging. You know, there's a huge difference. Maybe this is Merkavim's the key of our job. There's a big difference between having a big, strong house, and thank God that is Israel, which is a big, strong house now, and feeling at home. So what we have to do for all of Israel's 10 million citizens is continue that journey to change, to make a strong house a warm home, because that is you know, not only our values vision, but that also is what in the end is going to keep that house strong. And this program does that at a lot of different levels. And you know, it's a source of great pride that the Prime Minister's office, the Ministry of Education, different governments, and you know, this is now held up, Steve, as an international model of doing something that is really, really complex.
Yeah, sorry, who wanted to?
I just wanted to say something about after May events. I thought to myself, can we do it? Can we continue with this program? Because all that the things that happened were really hard for both sides, Arabs and Jewish. But we did it. This year, I have to say that this year, after the hard work of all of the team, we have 18 new schools that that are a part of our program this year. We have over 300 schools participated at this program. We also managed to integrate more than 170 new teachers, Arab teachers at Jewish schools. And as Rachel said at the beginning, more than 1,000 Arab teachers are teaching at Jewish schools. And this is really making me feel so much better and hoping for a good future for the both of the sides. And
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. This has been. I have to say, and I'm not afraid to go on record for this. This has been my favorite webinar that we've done. It really has. It's, Mike, you mentioned that you're sitting there feeling like an uncle, like a grandfather, and that you're schlepping lots of nachat, and I feel the same, and I'm not even part of your organization. So really, you guys, Samach, Sharuk, you're like frontline heroes. That's the overwhelming reaction that we're getting from our audience this evening, is that you really are inspirational, you're strong, you're resolute, and I don't have a hat, I don't even have hair, but if I had a hat on, I'd take it off to you for the amazing work that you're doing. You really, you have my utmost respect, and I think I can safely speak on behalf of our audience tonight that you have their utmost respect as well. What I would say is that as we move beyond this pandemic, and I think Israel has just opened up its borders a little bit more. We do trips to Israel for people who are interested in looking at the reality, and I can only hope. We've got plans to come next year, and I would love for us to be able to visit you, to meet you in person, and to show our to show people here that there is another way. And really, that's the only way, in my opinion, is to work towards cohesion and inclusion. I can't say enough how heartwarming it is. It really has been. For everyone here, look, I'm very mindful of the time. It's 10:20 in Israel. Samach has had surgery. I'm sure all you want to do is get into bed and have a good night's sleep. So I hope that happens for you. I hope that you can sleep with as little discomfort as possible. Sharuk, you've spoken from the heart, and it's been an absolute pleasure listening to both of you. It really has. Yael, Rachel, thank you for you're heroes as well, and Mike, you're all heroes in my book. It's been a real pleasure. I will, to everyone here with us this evening, I'll send out an email following up on this with a recording, and also if you're able to support the work of Merchavim, then I'll put details in the email as well on how you can support them. I think we all agree that their work is imperative. There's no other way, and this has to be able to continue.
If I can, first, Steve, just thank you for your beautiful words.
It's sincere.
Thank you so much. And on a practical level, as a trustee of British Friends of Mir Chavim, I'll be delighted to help on that last matter. But I know we all feel strengthened by your heartfelt words. So thank you so much.
No, it's
thank you.
my absolute pleasure. Thank you, all of you again. Have a good, what's remaining of your evening, not much. I know you've both got kids, so go to them and have a good evening, have a good sleep, stay safe, stay well, and stay strong and resolute, and please God, we'll see you next year. Okay, thank you very much on behalf of us all.
Thank you, Steve.